Hello, 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 Yogi family. I hope you are well. My name is Aimee, if you have not met me before. And we've got a nice practice today, but we're going to start standing up on our feet. There's no other way to stand up. And we're going to start walking around our mat. So just on the inside of our mat, just begin to walk around the space that you're going to work with today. Now you can play with how you're walking. You can stamp your feet. You can play with being on your tippy toes. You can switch direction at any point. And keep gazing down at your feet here. So you're focusing and honing in on your movement. And when you are ready to, find a space on your mat that feels good. And you might find one space and you might want to switch it up and it doesn't feel that comfy, so you find another one. And keep gazing down at those feet and just play with them a little. Maybe come up onto the balls of the feet, lean back into the heels, lifting all your toes, crunching them back into the floor. Just notice how they feel on the mat, on the floor. And when they feel nice and grounded, begin to lift your gaze up and then take in the rest of your room, the rest of your space. So we're sort of moving our head in different directions, just taking in our room. And maybe it's a room that we've spent lots and lots of time in. Maybe it's one we haven't. And see if we can approach it in a non-judgmental way without attaching to any mess, if there is any, anything that's in the wrong place. Just observing. Notice any sounds that are happening externally in the room or just outside. Lovely. And then find a nice still point for your head, wherever it may be. And we'll take 3 big breaths. So 3 conscious breaths, and you can do this in any way that feels good. So inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose, inhaling through the mouth, exhaling through the mouth, or mixing it up. We'll take a big inhale together. And letting it go. 2 more like that. Big breath in. Big breath out. Last time. Inhale. Exhaling. Wonderful. Bring your bend into the knees and slightly draw those feet a little wider if they're not hip width distance already. Lovely. Now we're going to explore a little tapping exercise. So we're going to start with our fingers on our heads. So find a little bend in the knees, find a comfortable position for your feet, and just begin to gently tap the top of your head. And begin to move around your skull, down the sides, around the back, base of the skull. Lightly tapping all over. Lovely. Slowly draw your fingers onto your forehead and tapping your forehead. Eyebrows just above. Down to your temples, nice and gentle here. And come round to under the eyes. Down to the cheeks. Maybe over the nose. And the space between your top lip and your nose. And then round and down to your chin. Take your hands down your neck. And just above the collarbones. And play below them as well. Across your chest. It's up to you. You can come down the sides or you can come through the center of your chest down to your ribs and play around across your abdomen and your ribs here, tapping. Maybe across your belly. If you'd like to here, you can turn your hands into gentle fists and just work through your hips. They can stay as tapping as well, alternating or at the same time. Now we're going to take the fists or the fingers down the sides of the outsides of our legs. So all the way down the outside of our thigh, down the outside of our shin and calf, and over to the feet and lightly tap your feet. Maybe you want to keep the fists. And then we're going to come up through the insides of our legs. So using our fists or our fingers again. Insides of the legs, inner thighs. And come back to those hips. And turn your fists, if you had fists, back into fingers. Again, over the belly, over the ribs, exploring the abdomen. Up through the outside, so the inside of the chest, down the center, through the center, up to the chest, and play above and below the collarbones. Now we'll explore the arms. You can choose one arm at a time and then tap all over the arm. You're welcome to find any sort of brushing or squeezing. Maybe you want to do both at the same time. Just explore your arms here, and you can try a couple of different things, see how they feel. And coming back through center, exploring the other arm. We're sort of just saying hello to our bodies here. And then coming back through that chest, collarbone, up through the neck. Back through the chin and the jaw. Through the cheeks. Upper lip. Space between the nose and the upper lip. Through the nose. And the upper cheeks and under the eyes, nice and gentle. Up through the temples. Above the eyebrows, the forehead, and back to the skull. Make your way around the top of the head. Lovely. And then softening the tapping, just place your hands over your head really gently. You can take your hands around, maybe over the face. Shoulders, chest, arms, belly, ribs, hips, bottom. Lovely. Give everything a little shake. Wonderful. Okay, we'll take 3 breaths here. So 3 really conscious breaths. Now you can sigh these out. You can breathe them out through the nose. Any way of really releasing your exhale. So really expansive and fresh new energy on the inhale. And getting rid of any stagnance or heaviness on those exhales. We'll begin together. Big inhale in. Big exhale out. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhaling. Wonderful. Okay, coming to the top of your mats. Now we're going to explore a couple of roll ups and roll downs. So we'll ground through our heels and we'll lift, let those arms just naturally float up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in, find this nice reach, this length. Then slowly let those arms come back down. As soon as they land by the sides of the waist, we draw that chin into the chest. We begin to roll the head first. Becomes heavy, shoulders become heavy. Roll from the top of the spine all the way down. Let the arms be heavy. You can create some movement here. Allow everything to soften. Bend the knees. Nice and deeply. Everything is heavy. Then as we inhale, we find each vertebrae stacking on top of each other as we roll back up. Head is heavy, arms are heavy. Taking a few breaths to do this. Head is the last to rise. And we let those arms sort of naturally float back up towards the ceiling. Create that length. Find activation at the top. Take a big breath in. Exhale, let those arms float back down. When they land by the sides of the waist, chin draws in, and we roll. Take your time. Everything becomes heavy. Once we get to the bottom, take a few moments there, allowing everything to hang, maybe finding a sway if that feels good. And when you're ready to rolling back up. Strong bend in the knees, each vertebrae at a time, rebuilding the spine. Letting the arms float back up towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in. And exhale, our hands will come through heart center. Lovely. Let's take an inhale here. And exhale, hands by the sides. Let's inhale, sweep those arms up and overhead. Find that reach. And exhale, nice and lazily, let's fold forward. Find your forward fold, Uttanasana. Inhale up halfway, lifting. We're going to sweep those hands behind us here. Really active through the fingertips. Find length in the spine, leaning into the toes. Exhale, plant the hands. Now we're going to walk into our downward facing dog. So bend the knees and begin to walk the legs back. And take a few moments just to establish your downward facing dog here. Maybe pedaling it out, lengthening through the hamstrings or shifting hips left and right. Finding space with the hands and the feet. And really relaxing those shoulders away from ears. Lovely. Take a big breath in here. And a big cleansing release. Wonderful. Feet will come together hip width distance. As we inhale, lifting nice and high, balls of the feet. Keep lifting that tailbone towards the ceiling, eliminating space between lower belly and upper thighs. Exhale, drop those heels, let that breath go. 2 more like this, inhale. Exhale. Last time, inhale. Exhale, lovely. This time we lift nice and high, balls of the feet. We round through, rounding the back. Coming forward into our plank pose. Now we might need to shift our length here. I'm going to find a little core exercise. So shoulders are on top of the wrists. Let's press away from the floor. Take an inhale. And we're going to dip the hips down towards the right. They can just hover off the mat. Strength of the core draws you back through center. Exhale, hips dip down to the left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, hips back up towards the ceiling. 2 more like that. Inhale, we find that ripple through the back as we come forward into our plank pose. Exhale, hips down to the right. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, hips down to the left. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, hips up and back. Lovely. We'll take 1 more like this. Inhale, rounding through. Exhale, hips down to the right. Keep pressing through both hands. Inhale, back through center. Exhale, hips down to the left. Inhale, back through center. And exhale, hips up and back. Lovely. We're going to ripple all the way back through 1 last time. And then we'll lower to our mats in whatever way we wish to. Onto our bellies. Lovely. Pressing into the tops of the feet. And we'll draw those arms forward. Now, thumbs are pointing up towards the ceiling, and we can soften the forehead. Now, we're going to explore with a few pulses. So we're going to lift the right leg and the left arm at the same time. So imagine someone's pulling the right toes and pulling the left fingers. We activate the right leg and the left arm. We're softening the forehead completely to the mat. It's relaxing on the ground. Take a breath in and slowly lowering down. Other side, left leg, right arm, inhale. Stay here, exhale. Take another breath in. And exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg, left arm. Exhale, stay. Inhale, reach. Exhale, lower. Last time, other side, left leg, right arm, inhale. Exhale, stay. Inhale. And lower, lovely. Now we'll find 3 pulses with both legs, both arms at the same time. Inhale, we'll lift all of our limbs. Maybe the gaze lifts a little. Exhale, we'll lower down. Inhale, we'll lift. Squeeze the glutes, point the toes. Exhale, we'll lower. 1 last time, inhale. Exhale, we'll lower. Lovely. We're going to come up into a full hold, full Shalabhasana. Inhale, lifting the legs, lifting the arms. Find that reach. Breathe here. So really feeling the breath press against the floor. Now maybe we stay here. Maybe we want to open our arms out. Find a little more openness through the chest. Take another breath in. And slowly release, creating a nice pillow for your head. 1 hand on top of the other. Forehead rests. Big toes come together, heels knock out, and we'll rock those hips left and right. Really allow everything to completely relax, completely soften. Taking a few moments here. Conscious breaths, acknowledging you're inhaling when you're inhaling, you're exhaling when you're exhaling. Lovely. Now bring those hands either side of the chest. And just soften the forehead here for a moment and rock through those shoulders. So maybe at the same time or alternating. Just find some shoulder rolls. And when you're ready to, press into those hands. And we'll find our first cobra. So elbows can stay bent here. We squeeze the glutes and we soften those shoulders away from the ears. Notice if we're sinking our shoulders into our necks here, if we can draw them away. Take another breath here. And exhale, untap those toes, and we'll peel the hips nice and high, finding our downward facing dog. Lovely. Now we're going to walk our feet up towards our hands and see if we can do it with our legs staying straight. So it may feel really strange, almost like we're walking like a penguin. We'll come to the top of the mat. Relax the head and neck. Maybe there's a strong bend in the knees. Now we're going to get nice and active, halfway lifting, reaching those arms behind us, creating length in the spine, maybe leaning into the toes. Exhale, we'll fold. 2 more like that. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, let's release. Last time, inhale. Exhale, let that go. Let's come all the way up, nice and active through the calves, hamstrings, glutes, arms out to the side, nice flat back. Inhale, let's reach all the way up. Maybe coming up onto the toes. Find a little balance on the toes here. Maybe invite that shake, that wobble. Take a big breath in. And exhale, soften the heels and let those arms float by the sides. Wonderful, lovely. Taking a breath in here. Releasing. Lovely. Hands will come back together, heart center. Inhale. Exhale, hands by the sides. Inhale, let's reach up, sweep up. And exhale, let's fold nice and lazily into our forward fold. Inhale, hands sweep behind us. Find that halfway lift. Lean into those toes. Exhale, plant the hands. Lovely. This time the right leg will come back. High on the ball of the foot. We'll reach those arms forward. And then all the way up into a crescent lunge. Taking a big breath in here. And soften those shoulders away from the ears. Now a few activations through the legs. Inhale, we'll lengthen through that front left leg. Exhale, we'll bend back in. Inhale, we'll bend through the back right leg. Let it hover off the floor. Exhale, we'll extend. Inhale again through that front left leg. Exhale, bend back in. Inhale, back right leg bends. Exhale, extend. One last time. Inhale. Front left leg. Exhale, bend back in. Inhale, back right leg. Exhale, extend. Lovely. One more inhale here. And exhale. We're going to plant that right hand. And we'll keep that left arm reaching up towards the ceiling as we find our low lunge twist. Stay really active through that right leg. See if we can soften through that left shoulder and really rotate from the torso here. Active in the left hands. Lift up the kneecap in the right leg, active in the quad. Breathing here. Acknowledging you're inhaling when you're inhaling. Exhaling when you're exhaling. Let's take one more breath. Have you let that left arm float down by the sides? And we'll continue bringing that left hand inside of the left leg as we rotate and we find a wide-legged fold. It skews the view. Toes are in, heels are out. And we're folding forward. Take a big breath in here. Big sighing release. Taking one more. One more exhale. Lovely. Let's come back to frame that front left leg. And we're going to bend into that back right leg as we launch that right leg forward to meet the left. Clasping opposite elbows maybe, or interlacing hands behind the back. Take a few moments here. Wonderful. Now we're going to find those hands back down by the toes. A few halfway lifts. Inhale, let's create that length. Length through the spine, in into the toes, fingertips point back. Exhale, we'll fold forward. 2 more like that. Inhale, create that length. Exhale, we'll fold. Last time, inhale. Exhale, let's release. This time the left leg will come back high on the ball of the foot. And reach those arms forward first, and we'll find that rotation in the hips, finding our crescent lunge other side. Okay. Take an inhale here, and soften through those shoulders, exhale. We'll find those movements with our legs again, inhaling, lifting up through that front right leg. Exhale, bend back in. Inhale, bend through that back left leg, let it hover. Exhale, extend. Lovely. Inhale, front right leg. Exhale, bend back through. Inhale, back left leg. Exhale, extend. Lovely. One more time. Inhale, front right leg. Exhale. Inhale, back leg. Exhale. One more breath in here. And now we're going to reach that left hand down as we keep reaching that right arm up to find our low lunge twist. Take your time in that transition. Active in that back left leg. Can we play with that top right shoulder? Can we see if we can rotate from the torso a little more? Think about one long line from the right fingertips down to the heel of the left hand. Breathing. Lifting up the hips a little. Lift up through the quad of the left leg. Let's take one more breath. Lovely, let's frame that front right foot. And then that right hand will come inside of the right foot and we'll continue to walk over to our wide-legged fold. Lovely. Toes are in, heels are out. Now we're going to walk the hands as far forward as they'll go. Send the hips as far back as they'll go. So sort of work your body in 2 different directions here. Allow the head and neck to soften between the space of the shoulders. Take big breaths in, big breaths out. Relaxing those shoulders away from the ears. Let's take one more here. Lovely. Walking those hands back in. Stay nice and low to the floor. We're going to find a twist here. So the left hand is going to come in front of the face. Right hand is going to come to the lower back. Fingers pointing away. And it's to check in with our hips. So as we inhale, we're going to lean into the toes and press into that left hand. As we exhale, we're going to twist to the right. So begin to rotate the torso over to the right. And notice if your hips have shifted to the right, if we can draw them back through center. Use that right hand as support. And if you'd like to explore a little more, then you can begin to lift that right arm off of the lower back. Breathing in your twist. Twisting from the belly. Take one more here. Lovely. Nice and slowly come back through center. Shift that right hand for the left. And that left hand will come to the lower back. Or lean into the toes, press into that right hand. And exhale, we'll twist to the left. Use the torso to twist. Check in with the hips. Realign them if you need. Breathing in your twist. If you'd like to extend that left arm, then by all means, just an option. Big inhales, big exhales. Taking one more here. And slowly coming back through center. Lovely. Use your hands on the floor or on blocks to heel toe your feet a little closer together, but still nice and wide. So wider than hip width distance, heels in, toes out. Use your hands on the floor to encourage your hips back down towards the ground. So finding your malasana, your yogi squat. Now using any props here to support this pose. It's quite nice to use a block underneath your bottom here to find a little more lift and length through the chest. And if we'd like to, hands can come together, heart center, elbows to the knees, knees to the elbows. Find a little opening in the hips. We'll take a few breaths here. Welcome to close the eyes. Drawing that tailbone down. Hands can be on the floor as well. Lovely, let's take one more breath in, one more breath out. Using your hands to come behind you to soften the blow onto your bottoms. Lovely. I'm going to take that right leg out to the side and the left sole of the foot to the upper right thigh. I'm going to find a nice lateral bend here. So two options. Right hand can go inside of the right leg, or it can wrap around the left knee. Really active in that right leg, toes towards the shin, and slowly, gently, we'll sweep that left arm up and over the ear. Keep thinking about that chest turning up towards the ceiling. You can play with both variations. Notice how either one of them feels for you. And a few breaths here, acknowledging your inhales when you're inhaling, exhales when you're exhaling. Let's take one more here. Lovely. Reaching that left arm all the way back and slowly allow it to draw your body back through center. Now we're going to pivot slightly as we draw that right hip back, left hip forward. So our abdomen and our chest is directly in front of that right thigh. So we can use props or blocks underneath our bottoms here, or we can lift the juice up and out of our bottoms here. And we can inhale, create some length, reach those arms up to the ceiling. And exhale, let's hinge at those hips and fold over that front right leg. Now, it's not about how far we go, finding the foot or drawing the forehead to the knee. We want to think about eliminating space between lower belly and upper right thigh. So we may not go very far at all, but our spine is nice and tall, our shoulders are relaxed, and we're active through that right leg. And slowly, bit by bit, we're eliminating that space between belly and thigh a little more. So really take your time here. It's quite an introspective pose. So really allow your breath to support you, maybe even closing the eyes. You can explore with every exhale, taking you a little further. You've got 3 more breaths here, exploring your forward fold. Last moment here. Lovely, nice and slowly calling the hands back up. Head is the last to rise. We're going to take that right leg on top of the left. So we're going to find a nice fire log pose here. So where we stack the shins one on top of the other. Now, depending on how open our hips are, we might find this pose looks a little different for every single person. So don't compare yourself to what this looks like for me. Maybe there's a block underneath this right knee and it really supports opening that right hip. Maybe you use that right hand as a gentle amount of pressure to press on that right knee. Now you can have your hands either side. You can have your hands walking forward. Just take a moment to open that right hip. And taking a few breaths. Now we will take 3 more here. Soften those shoulders. Release all the muscles on the face. Wonderful. Now that right leg will continue to cross over the left. Now 2 options here in our twist. Our left leg can extend out nice and long, so both sit bones are grounded. Now if we find that we're in this position and both of our sit bones are grounded, we can stay here, either option. And we're going to draw that right knee into the chest and take a moment in the central position, squeezing them into one another, active through the feet. When you're ready to, that left arm can wrap around the right leg. So begin to twist and plant that right hand behind us. Nice and light on those right fingertips. And softening those shoulders. Be mindful not to really force your twist here. If you'd like a little more sensation, then that left elbow can hook to the outer right knee as you twist a little further. Taking a few more breaths here. One last one. Lovely. Head comes back first. We unravel the body, taking a nice counter twist over to the left. So just rolling onto the outer left hip, using your hands to support you, bowing down to that left side. Slowly coming back through center. We're going to take all the same on the other side. So now extending that left leg out to the left, sole of the right foot to the upper left thigh. We find that lateral stretch, so 2 options, left arm inside of the left leg or wrapping around the outside of the right knee. And when you're ready, really active in the left toes, let's sweep that right arm up and over the ear. Finding that lateral opening here. Keep peeling that chest up towards the ceiling, maybe exploring both variations. Acknowledging your breath. Inhales and exhales. Supporting you in this pose. Let's take one more here. Lovely. Take that right arm all the way back up and let it support the rest of the body, joining it. Lovely. We're going to find that rotation. Left hip draws back, right hip draws forward. So we find our belly and abdomen directly in front of that left thigh. Nice and active in that left leg. Lifting any juice up and out of the bottom or using any props here to sit on. Inhale, lifting those arms. Exhale, hinging at those hips, finding that elimination of space between belly and upper left thigh. Again, focus on shoulders relaxing, spine nice and tall, left hip is drawing back. And we're closing that gap. Take your time exploring your forward fold. If you are able to reach the feet, you can use them as a form of a lever here to explore a little more depth. But be mindful not to completely round forward. This is a nice active variation, so we can build a little more flexibility. Let's take a few more here. Maybe the eyes are closed. And just take one more breath. Lovely. The head is the last to rise. Nice and slowly we'll crawl up. Wonderful. We're going to take that left leg and stack our shins, now working into our left hip. So the feet are in line with the knees here, toes remain active, and our shins stack. So playing with that left hip, notice that it might feel a little different to the right side. Personally, my left is a lot tighter. Using any props here to support you, using your hands on your knee or by the sides. And finding a few breaths here. Maybe the eyes are closed, maybe they're open. find a nice softness in the shoulders and in all the muscles on the face. Taking around 3 more breaths here. Exploring your hip opener. Last breath. Lovely. Okay, crossing that left leg completely over the right. And again, 2 options. So if both of our sit bones are grounded here, we can stay here. If not, then we'll draw that right leg out in front of us. Wonderful. So nice and active in the right leg, toes towards the shin, hugging that knee, left knee into the chest, thigh to the chest. We'll wrap that right arm around the leg and begin to turn and twist over to the left. Left hand comes behind you as we gaze over that left shoulder. Stay nice and active in that right foot. Nice and soft in the shoulders. Breathing here. If you'd like a little more sensation, that right elbow can hook to the outer right knee, outer left knee, shall I say, as we twist a little deeper. Keep breathing down into the belly, drawing that belly in as you find that rotation. One more breath. Lovely, your gaze will come back first, the body will unravel, and we'll take a counter twist down towards the right, rolling onto the outer right hip, hands support you, bowing down. Wonderful. Let's press into the hands, come back up, unravel the legs. Soles of the feet will come to touch in Supta Baddha Konasana. Take a few moments, maybe bouncing through the knees, explore this version, or your version here. Wonderful. Maybe play with the feet a little, give them a nice little massage, a little loving. Wonderful. Okay. And we're going to create a little more space between our heels and our groins. So draw your heels a little further forward, creating this diamond shape with our legs. And whenever you're ready to, completely rounding forward, folding over your legs, rounding through the back, rounding through the arms, letting them go. And breathing here. Taking big, nourishing breaths in and releasing breaths out. Taking a few more. Maybe we can really focus on breathing into the mid-back. Taking one last breath. Lovely, nice and slowly. Using your hands, head is the last to rise, crawling your way back up. And we'll close here. For today's practice, you're welcome to find Shavasana and switch me right off and find some time, dedicated time to restore and replenish the body. Alternatively, we'll just take a few moments here in a seated position, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing all the muscles in the face. Connect to your breath. Just notice its organic rhythm. Not changing it in any way, just observing. You're inhaling when you're inhaling. You're exhaling when you're exhaling. Lovely. Now following our breath, our arms are going to reach up towards the ceiling. Exhale, we're going to draw them through heart center. 2 more like that. Inhale, sweep them up. Exhale, draw them in. Last time, create a little more length. Inhale. And exhale, draw them in. Take a moment, hands to heart center or third eye space. A moment of gratitude to honor all that you are and all that there is. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed your practice today. And I look forward to seeing you very soon.